I just wanted to come on here real quick and pondering on the initiate of yesteryears and all the great mystics and all the different traditions, epoch, civilization, where we have great texts on traditions and rituals of initiates, right? And pondering on Steiner, I was thinking about, you know how we see yogis in the Himalayas living society to transcend self-realization, right? Which is also put on the pyramid, the Maslow pyramid of self-actualization, self-realization, the pyramid of needs, right? And I remember I talked about how when I read autobiography of a yogi, and at that point I was already in my 30s and I had accomplished so much in my life that I knew this was the last bit for me. There was nothing else after that, right? And that pursuit. But then a year later, I encountered Steiner, who brought me the way of the initiates, and I read the great initiates, and I Blavatsky, Theosophy, Anthroposophy, spiritual science, human wisdom, right? And this is where the plateau for me. Those yogis I'm talking about, it's not the same thing as still remaining in society, still living in society, but learning to raise yourself to the spirit man, the Atma Buddhi. It's not the same. Yes, both require a practice of shedding some layers of the I, or what we believe is the I. Okay, but with the yogi, and I'm not saying that he's not having other experiences, but he seems to be attaining samadhi, Nirvilpilka samadhi or other form of samadhi. With Steiner, you are very present in life. You are just extremely more monitored if you want to rise yourself to higher worlds and attain those levels of cognition, right? So you are not disappearing in blissful states. Both require work, right? And we are here to do the work. This is the great work, right? But when you, part of doing the work, besides the mantras, is also surrounding yourself with spiritual texts and spiritual material, right? To nourish the soul. And in those texts, my texts, the ones that I chose, besides the Upanishad, the Vedas, for me, it's the work of the late great Dr. Steiner. And we talk about the initiate, and we talk about the initiate consciousness and how to rise yourself to higher world, because we talk about higher cognition and its attainment. And that is not a disappearance into blissful samadhi. This is a very conscious work that frustrates me, but I can't leave alone, right? Because I'm always listening to Steiner. Last night, I don't know what text, esoteric lessons, esoteric developments, I don't know what lectures. There is a part where the initiate is asking his master or his guide, not his higher guide, but his guide, how do I forget the I? How do I forget my thoughts? How do I do certain things? And only you have to find that path, right? Only you has to find a way to shed those 3D layers of your being to rise. I hope this helps. I hope this helps. But the whole point of the mission of your work, if you are pursuing in higher worlds and their cognition, just like I am, you are pondering on those materials. Those materials are not leaving you alone. I myself am completely obsessed with them, and it's definitely my life's work.